Hey there folks, Tempesk here, bringing another audio commentary, and today we have a game between Grubby and xiaOt, and it's a game that was just recently played, and it was literally the last game in Star Wars, and basically, Grubby wasn't even supposed to be playing. It was supposed to be Team Korea versus the old schoolers, but the old schoolers were just losing so badly that they decided that Grubby should just play instead of sort of one Korean, and looks like and they decided to play sort of a really weird game where they're playing random races, random heroes, and 50% handicap, I think both, or I think it is, yeah, or no, maybe it's 60%, and as you can see, xiaOt has got the Demon Hunter first, whereas Blood Mage first for Grubby, so really not a good position for him. This Demon Hunter is going to be able to do a lot of harassment, and an Arcane Tower already building for Grubby. Clearly he thought it was of paramount importance to get that defense, because he saw that he got the Blood Mage, which is not a good first hero, and you can see earlier Grubby was not pleased with the hero choices, and actually now xiaOt being able to get two peasant kills straight away, and looks like Grubby's going to take a lot of damage. Obviously only 275 hit points on that Blood Mage, really so hard to keep it alive for any period of time, especially against sort of one agility hero, and the Demon Hunter just has such high DPS anyways, and it looks like that Blood Mage is going to go down immediately, but Grubby does now come in here and get the block and get the kill as well, but not before 150 experience I think for that Demon Hunter, so some really nice early gameplay. But xiaOt meanwhile, obviously you do get immediately food blocked as soon as you start the game, because you start off with 5 wisps and a hero, went for a whole bunch of moonwalls, clearly worried about getting food blocked, and as a result actually doesn't have an altar, because he wasn't planning on losing his Demon Hunter anytime soon. I think he was just hoping to be able to do damage and then run back, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Maybe he was spamming TP and it didn't work for some reason. It is a land though, so who knows, maybe he's just a bit out of practice, but Grubby not really any way he could have kept his hero alive, and now needs to get some lumber just so he can rebuild his altar, and it looks like he's pretty close. There it is there, and so I imagine we'll see xiaOt putting down his altar as well, and so a very interesting start to that game. I can't believe just how amazing this game actually is. I watched the first half of this game live, actually on Shagrath's stream. He actually puts up an amazing website basically on his own. I'll put a link to it down below. It's esportsglobal.com. He does amazing Warcraft 3 news. I think it's just him, and it's just so comprehensive. There's lots of stuff there where he clearly peruses all the major sites and gathers all the relevant information, and looks like xiaOt is going to put down a Ancient of War now because he wants to do some creeping, and that's perfectly understandable. Obviously a Demon Hunter and Ancient of War can creep a whole lot better than a Blood Mage, and Grubby actually no gold, but they're finally having enough gold to get his Blood Mage back, but with only 210 hit point footmans, that's just ridiculous. It is 50% handicap. It's just so hard to play like that, and I think maybe a high DPS army would be really nice here, and you can just focus down units so quickly. But look at this militia with 110 hit points, so hard to play with, really intense micro means, and it's probably going to mean a very good game. And looks like xiaOt is just going to continue pumping wisps, and actually this one wisp is going down here, gonna produce, I don't remember, it was an Ancient of War, Tree of Life, probably Ancient of War, yeah, Ancient of War going up. Bear in mind, Ancient of War only 500 hit points, and Grubby actually aggroing these creeps, trying to get them onto the Ancient of War, but actually fails. But that Ancient of War, bear in mind, only is 500 hit points, so it does take a lot of damage. You can see just these 3 creeps just doing so much damage, but it looks like xiaOt not missing a step, managing to sort of just to disrupt the creeps. And actually I've been so impressed by how these players have been playing recently. The old school players, they really put up an excellent fight, especially Todd and Fov. Both of them fought excellent matches. I might even cancel the Fov match. I did watch that entire game, but I was just blown away by it. Fov just has such style, such panache. I never realized how much I'd missed him, I think, until watching that one game, and I don't think he'll probably ever play a game again, which is a bit of a shame. Todd, I think, has actually been invited to ESWC, so we'll probably see more of Todd, despite him supposedly being retired. And Grubby picking up a clause, pretty nice item. Obviously it's equivalent to applause plus 12 considering it's 50% handicap, whereas xiaOt picking up a circulative mobility, again a pretty nice item, just because it gives you actually 50, sort of the equivalent of 100 extra hit points, and just because it's just in terms of sort of percentage increase in hit points. And actually thinking about it, possibly the reason why xiaOt went for all these moonwalls is because they obviously have so much mana in them, compared to the amount of health that you have, that they'll be super effective. So maybe that's why xiaOt went for those early, and obviously he wasn't planning on losing his Demon Hunter, and going for a 4th Moonwall as well. So actually some really clever play here by xiaOt. I didn't even understand what he was doing until just now, I think, and bear in mind I watched this game once before in a cast, and or I watched the first sort of 10 minutes or so, and it looks like Grubby actually buying 2 scroll regenerations. Maybe that's a spamming mistake, or more likely I think that's just because he's gonna want to be able to heal up later, because it's pretty tricky to creep up when you only have 313 hit points on your hero. And so xiaOt now going to be creeping out this camp with his Ancient of War. Obviously, really, you don't forget how to play Warcraft 3 well. By the looks of things, it looks like he's just managing to hit one Ancient of War and then move on, or sorry, hit one creep and then move on with his Ancient of War, never actually killing a creep, and that's just so important. Parry up to Vitality, really nice item there for that Demon Hunter, really so useful. And it looks like he will just go back and actually, did he forget it? Nope, there he goes. You will pick that up, and you can see just how much his hit point jump as a percentage. That's what, 150 out of basically 450. So that's basically sort of an extra 50% hit points. That's so nice. Can you imagine on a full hit point hero? And looks like Grubby's going to do some creeping here. And actually, this camp's quite tricky because this this one Murloc will actually get poison off on all of them, and that'll do a whole bunch of damage. And Grubby actually only getting a Tome of Agility, the worst thing he could have got there. And it looks like he's putting down some towers now. 1 arcane and 1 guard tower, and xiaOt probably going to come and harass as well. But xiaOt's actually done his own creeping hit 3, and actually it has 500 hit points and almost 9 armor on his Demon Hunter. So he's almost the equivalent of like a level 1 Blade Master at this point. And looks like he's going to come in, buy some boots, and then maybe head out. Actually buys boots and Staff of Teleportation. Maybe he's going to go back, heal, and then harass Grubby a bit. Obviously Grubby's still in a bit of a weak position. His towers have a bit longer before they've built, but it looks like Grubby's going to move in here, and he hasn't yet started his tech. So Grubby maybe needs to get on that, because xiaOt's already at tier 2, does have his hunters all up, and it looks like we will be seeing some sort of interesting play by him, just because he is such a sort of interesting player. If you don't remember him, he was an Orc player, and he was actually a lot of fun. Like he did some pretty interesting stuff. He had some pretty fun strategies. Grubby not even getting his expansion up yet. This is really late for him. Obviously focusing more on these guard towers, because these guard towers only, or sorry, when they're building at least, the scout towers have 180 hit points, go down really quickly, and that's why the simulation is just doing so much damage, because it's raw damage, and that's just so damaging. And you can see Grubby actually taking a fair bit of damage now on his Blood Mage. He does need to get it behind those towers, but he does manage to do that. And unfortunately, xiaOt doesn't manage to actually take down the constructing guard tower. And it looks like Grubby isn't going to heal, but doesn't really have. He only has 2 peasants at this point. Going to need more to get his Tree of Life going up. And will this Wisp go for an expansion? That would be a very nice move. Yes, it is going for an expansion, but he'll need to be careful, because obviously it can be cancelled a whole lot easier when it only has half the hit points. And Grubby now coming back in, almost flush on level 3 now, and so he's going to actually pick off 1 Wisp here, and it looks, was that oh, never mind. Looks like Grubby actually picking off 1 Wisp there that was just sitting around. Maybe he's going to put up some towers, maybe it was just for scouting, and I guess it doesn't really matter if they do that. Grubby actually calling Militia here. I'm not sure, is that the correct choice? I think it's better just to run them down. I think it's faster, because you have to wait for these things to get out of Militia form, which takes a hell of a lot of time. And it looks like Grubby now coming in, going to get the mana siphon off on that one Shadow Priest, but still has a whole lot of mana left. And Grubby going to do a bit of harassment. Ancient wins up for xiaOt, which is a bit surprising, considering his Hunter Soul, and going for a Hippogriff, which is doubly surprising, really. It's such an unusual unit. Grubby has no air at this point, so it's a pretty odd choice. I have to be honest, I don't really understand this. I guess he's going to be going for Hippogriff Riders, and that will be pretty nice for him, just because they have pretty high DPS and a really nice focusing power. Grubby forced to TP out, but not before taking out 1 archer and protecting his expansion for a bit at least, and will need to heal up here. Obviously things like scroll regeneration a lot more powerful in 50% handicap, because that 1 scroll regeneration will get Grubby all the way back up to full hit points on his Blood Mage pretty much, for a really low cost. But this one expansion is almost up for xiaOt. And Grubby, I'm really interested by this position of the Town Hall. Almost every human pro you'll see will build this Town Hall right here, and that's just because it has very nice protection. You can only really be attacked from one area. It's this wide whole area here, but it's sort of one area that you need to defend, whereas Grubby clearly has said, I'm fine if you attack me from this angle or this angle, and I'm not sure, maybe it's because he has defended footmen, so he's not really worried about attacking from this angle, because he will just be able to put a line of defended footmen here, or maybe he has some other reason, maybe he prefers lumber harvesting from this region. But Grubby actually doing some militia creeping now. This is something humans do a lot as well, actually. They just continue to militia creep long after you expect that they would have stopped, and it looks like xiaOt is now running in with this 1 Demon Hunter, pretty close to 4 in that Demon Hunter as well, and continuing to produce archers, and It looks like we will be seeing some sort of really interesting strategy. Second Ancient of Wind going up for xiaOt, so it looks like we will be seeing Hippogriff Riders. Although I would have really liked to see lots of archers. Yeah, there's I would have really liked to see mass archers with dots. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Just because you would have so high DPS, especially with that Demon Hunter. If you picked up, actually, you wouldn't really want to pick up a Naga second because it has such low hit points. But if you picked up something like that, I'm not exactly sure what the best second choice would be. But something like that would be pretty nice to complement it, just to add to the DPS. Thinking about it, it's pretty tricky because you couldn't go for a Dark Ranger really, because something like if you saw Bolt and Holy Light, or sorry, Mount King and Paladin as second and third heroes, they'd have such high DPS against him. I'm not really sure what the best choice of second hero is for xiaOt, and it looks like Grubby is now a bit on the offensive. Now that he has Defend on his footman, that's really powerful because it really makes his footman so much better. It has if you are not playing on 50%,